We're delving into Kill Team Octarius today, taking a look at the new Ork Kommandos, fabulous Orky terrain, and a few of the details around the Kill Team release. Hello and welcome back to Warspets Tactics, where today we're here to round off the last of the Octarius preview, and in particular focus on these fabulous Ork Kommandos that, along with the Death Corps, are some of the most interesting and well thought out miniatures released, and a truly spectacular upgrade on the previous resin Ork Commando kit. As I'm sure plenty of you will be aware by now, the big reveal of the Octarius preview was this Kill Team Octarius box. It contains the Ork Kommandos, the Death Corps of Krieg, the Kill Team Core Book, Ork terrain and a game board, and it's essentially the launch box for the new edition of Warhammer Kill Team, a single run release that's only going to be available while stocks last. It does mean that it might be one to jump on quite quickly. Games Workshop is known to release plenty of things that sell out quickly, though they managed to anticipate demand okay with the new Age of Sigmar Dominion box, so at least fingers crossed they will have done the same with this. The previous Kill Team release cost something in the region of £95 or $180, so I think it's likely that this will be similar, if not a little bit more, due to the few years between the releases. This is the full contents of the box. There's the Ork Commando Kill Team, 10 of them plus a bomb squig and a ninja grot, then a Death Corps of Krieg infantry squad. We already talked about them in a full video last night, so feel free to give that video a look if you'd like to see a bit more about them. In addition, there's the core book, the rules for these individual miniatures and the campaign in this Octarius manual, a bunch of dice and range rulers, loads of tactical cards, a whole swath of tokens, a standard Kill Team size game board, and a whole bunch of Ork buildings and scrap piles of terrain. Along with the Death Corps, it's the Kommandos that I think are the pick of the box, so let's take a look at them in a little bit more detail. I think they were a really good choice for Games Workshop to update, one of the older Ork resin kits. The miniatures looked still kind of good, but they were all monopose, and working in resin isn't anywhere near as nice as being revamped in plastic. Much like the Death Corps, Games Workshop really have gone above and beyond to make this kit nice. There's not just 5 of them in the kit like there were before, there is a big 10 of them, plus those extra flavour miniature upgrades. All the models are really customizable. You can build either Slugger Boys or all of these specialists and special weapons, and there's a whole ton of different heads and options that you can choose to arm them with. You've got to love the vibe on these guys. They're basically an Ork Spec Ops team, sort of trying to do stealth and looking like a commando team that's really practical, but of course done in a crazy Orky way, so everything is ludicrously sized in terms of weapons and things, and all their snazzy commando gear looks like it's been welded together by a big mech while high on fungus juice, which, let's face it probably was. We've already seen this brutal Powerclaw armoured knob feature in the animated Kill Team trailer, crushing a couple of foolish humies that got in his way. I like his little flat cap there, his big scoped slugger, and all his different grenades and pouches. You can really tell that this is supposed to be a commando team, not just your standard slugger boy mob. Here are the other half of the commandos. We've got a slasher boy armed with 2 knives, and a bunch of special weapon options, including a tri-barreled shooter, a comms expert, and another standard commando armed with an axe and slugger, most of them wearing some nice tactical masks, stitched together gas masks, with all manner of Orky scopes and rebreathers. Again, much like the Death Corps, I'm a real fan of the way that these aren't just monopose models. People would have been still really happy to see them, literally if they were just as is, no options whatsoever. But this is a full-fat multi-part kit, head swap options, different weapon options. Apparently you can build all of these with sluggers and choppers, as well as all of their fancier specialist options, and the fun little upgrade miniatures thrown in. This first guy is a breacher boy apparently. In Kill Team is meant for knocking down doors and breaching through enemy terrain. In 40k I'm sure it'll equate to some sort of power maul type weapon. I suspect a decent amount of AP and certainly multi-damage. It does look like the entire commando datasheet is going to have a massive overhaul. There's a ton of options in this kit, and you're going to be able to put together a really flexible unit depending on what you want to have going. With that in mind, we've got the option of additional special weapons added back in, a rocket boy and a burner boy, both options that I believe used to be in the commando roster but were taken out due to the no model no rules thing, so it's really nice to have them back. We've got a quirky comms boy who can apparently fire his radio gun as another weapon. Totally Orky that. Why would you bother having a radio if you can't fire it like a gun? There's something called a slasher boy armed with 2 choppers, both of which we know are going to AP -1 now, and that means he'll likely get an extra attack compared with normal. He's got a whole bunch of throwing knives as well, so maybe we'll get rules for throwing them too. Perhaps one of the most interesting models rules-wise is this Orky sniper rifle. That's been one slight weakness throughout the Ork range, that they haven't got any sniper options whatsoever throughout their army, but I'd be amazed if this thing doesn't allow you to target characters, even in lieu of the Lookout Sir rule. I'd hope that it'd be a suitably powerful enough tool to actually do the job, even with Orky ballistic skill. I suspect that we're not going to be able to spam these, but you never know, if its rules are efficient enough, you might be able to get 3 small squads of Kommandos on the go, each with one of these, and they might be able to actually delete some enemy characters, and provide another different role for the unit. Bit of a stretch as to whether that would be efficient, but that's certainly an option to watch, I think. Finally, we've got the option for a bomb squig and a ninja grot. The bomb squig again was seen in that nice animated trailer. I like the way that it's got a little aerial poking out the back of it, presumably so one of the commandos can detonate it. We've already seen the rules for these guys. It should do D3 mortal wound on the roll of a 3+. It just remains to be seen how points efficient that'll be. Finally, and perhaps the most fun model in the whole unit, is this little ninja grot here. What's not to like about a Gretchen with a grappling hook and night vision goggles? Apparently in Kill Team he can wing his way around the map really quickly with that hook and maybe snatch some objectives. I'm definitely interested to see what he'll be able to do in Warhammer 40k. I'm going to guess that he'll have to stick with the unit, so maybe he'll have some sort of other interesting role. I suppose at the very least, if he's cheap enough, he could just tank a powerful enemy shot and save one of your commandos' lives. I'm sure that these guys will be getting the toughness 5 the same as all the other boys, so they should be a bit harder to remove than they were before. Not bad to have a bit of extra staying power on a unit that's doing covert operations and won't get gunned down quite as easily just to a bit of incidental bolter fire. Overall, I really love this unit. A great job by Games Workshop. I'm sure it'll be very popular as soon as it's released separately. Otherwise in the box, we of course have this fabulous Ork Town. Really nice to see a good amount of functional Xenos terrain, that you've actually got enough pieces that you could cover a fair amount of the battlefield in it, rather than just having the one piece that maybe just sticks out a bit if you just put it next to a whole load of different terrain. We've got a few sets of welded together Orky ruins, no windows in those so they should be quite good for blocking line of sight, a few Ork barricades, and a couple of little catwalks to walk between some of the terrain pieces. There's also a few bits that look like they were brought along by the Death Corps of Krieg, mini barricades. Again, could be some cover to hide behind in Kill Team, or function as little barricades if you put them together in Warhammer 40k. According to the people in the reveal, the Ork glyphs are moulded on, so it might not be quite as easy to adjust the kits to other races' terrain, but I'm sure you might be able to cover them up with other races' logos, or just some spare bits of plasticard or something. If you did maybe want to represent some other shantytown run-down settlements, maybe something Genestealer Cult or Chaos Renegade perhaps. I feel like these might be going fairly cheap second hand for anyone who buys the Octarius kits for the miniatures, so hopefully they won't be too hard to get your hands on, and they will be available separately somewhere later down the line once this box is gone. Finally, although I don't play much Kill Team myself, this box does herald the release of Kill Team 2.0. They didn't really go into much of the rules changes in the actual stream, but one of the things that I found quite interesting is that the only measurement tool that you'll need are these little templates. You no longer need a tape measure if you don't have one, though I'm sure you could use the one if you had one available. All model movements will be in increments of this template. I believe pistols will be able to fire the range of that template on the right, and I guess anything else will just have as much range as it needs to fire across the small battlefield. Apparently board sizes will be remaining unchanged, and all previous factions will be supported, potentially with some digital releases initially. I guess you'll have to wait and see. Much like the 9th edition Warhammer 40k Crusade mode, apparently there's going to be some progressive rules for Kill Team, ways to level up your models and characters between games in narrative play, and they're going to be revealing some of those rules and mechanics in previews on Warhammer Community. Perhaps most intriguingly of all is that there are going to be some more Kill Team style kit releases, which if they're the same caliber of the Death Corps and the Ork Kommandos is really good news for 40k and Kill Team players alike. By forcing them to release the options of specialists alongside kits, it means that each kit will get a whole load of more interesting bits, and potentially add a whole new load of war gear options and in-depth stuff to certain factions' datasheets. Imagine one of your faction getting a core kit release that has Kill Team options built in. That would just be a spectacular amount more value, and could potentially allow you some nice conversion opportunities to represent other models within the line. So overall, I must say I really like the Kommandos. I'm sure Ork players will be very happy to see that new Orky Town, and some seriously interesting developments for Kill Team. As always, let me know any of your thoughts down in the comments below. So that just about wraps us up here. If you'd like to see more, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, where I'll most certainly be covering the Ork Codex in full. I'm sure we'll have to do a full datasheet deep dive on the new Kommandos. Finally, if you have been enjoying the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention the Auspex Tactics Patreon page, which is one way that you can help keep the videos coming if you'd like to. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things come next on the channel, and automatic entry to the regular prize giveaways with the chance to win some really big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, then the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.